It's so like we got cut off. You know, like a lot of the videos have been getting cut off lately. I've been just catching hell trying to do videos. This brother's my witness. Last live we did, we did like an hour live and only 20 minutes of it recorded. Just all kind of crazy shit. So bear with us. Go ahead.
2 Esdras 15 and verse 28. Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Keep on going.
Wait, so like that. Hopefully it's still recording. Bakushai, can we read that over?
2 Esdras 15 and verse 28. Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So eventually something gonna pop off over in the Middle East. Eventually, Yahweh Shemi Shai is just gonna allow this shit to pop off. Go ahead.
It says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Yeah, the modern day Carmanians is the Iranians.
Mm-hmm.
Or people in Iran. Go ahead.
It says, what's lucky? Can I get some?
Mm-hmm.
It's lucky. Here, Jeremiah, because it said, they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Jeremiah 50 and verse. It's like 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she had done, do unto her, for she had been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. All right, and those archers are, the silos, all right, which these other nations they hold. They hold, nuclear missiles. Matter of fact, Putin, he's basically given, the president of, where's that one place? I believe somewhere down there in Africa, some nuclear, weapons, So these nations, Yahweh Shemi Shai is setting these nations up to destroy America with these nuclear missiles, all because this place is totally against Yahweh Shemi Shai, the lifestyle that they push, is against Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, the matter of fact, the reputation that they put on Yahweh Shemi Shai is totally false. All right, that all God loves everybody. You come as, you come however you are. The Lord is going to accept you. He's a white man with long hair. Hey, the Lord is greatly offended at that.
Yeah. Ghana, was it Ghana? It says, compete to build Ghana's first nuclear power plant.
Wait, when was it? I think.
No, that's not.
Yeah, it was like shoot, today. I think a brother posted in the chat.
So like I was just trying to find it real quick since you brought it up.
Kanye, it's right here. It's from Elder Yash.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it. They got a nuclear energy agreement.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's, that's prophecy,
Yeah.
It's prophetic that, Russia would be, basically the guard over these other, smaller nations, that's not on the, they might not be on the level of America, but through, Russia, Russia being that big brother for them, now they on that level of America.
And Russia is back. Russia is backed by China and Iran and many other nations, the BRICS nations. Iran is backed by the BRICS nations. So this thing is it's coming to a tipping point. Everything is coming to a tipping point, and then over here in America, you got all these riots going on, uproars of the people. Whether it be Asian provocateurs or not, it's still uproars of the people.
Yep.
So it's all good. So things are moving real fast.
That was it, Omar. You got something?
No, we can keep reading.
Okay. 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remember their nature, and if they shall turn themselves conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. So what did it say? And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. Remembering their nature. And basically their nature going into wild,
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Like these people are radicals, man. Like they'll die for what they believe.
Suicide bombers.
Yep. And they believe that if they die, in war, that they get to go to their version of heaven. So right now everybody's getting put in everybody's mind. Look, we might have to go to war. These people are prepared to die. And a lot of people over here in America are not prepared to die. Americans want to live. Americans want to be comfortable. They want things to get better. The people over here in America are not willing to die for any cause, man. Go ahead.
This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So Yahweh Shema Shah, he's stirring up the spirit, of these other nations' mighty men, Basically getting them that war mindset, preparing themselves to go to war, It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right? And, hey, you got, like, Japan, What did America do to Japan? Totally bully them, But guess what? Now they're gonna be with, Russia, Iran, Iraq, all right, coming against America, But yeah, it said beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So yeah, just getting war ready, Not worrying about, building up the economy, But worrying about destroying America, because that's what the mindset of these nations are, It was a full room of, I'll say there was some Arabian nation, something like that, but they was all screaming DTA, They was all chanting it, just DTA, So these other nations, this is what they want, But ultimately, this is what Yahweh Shema Shah want.
Well,
that was it on that.
Yeah. We can go back.
2nd Esdras 15 and verse 32. Then these shall be troubled, keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Syrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their hosts shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. So yeah, you know, in Babylon the Great, aka America, you know, it's gonna be something going on, you know, from these other nations, you know. You know, it could be shit, you know, them killing mass people, or you know, whatever, you know. But something's gonna happen here in America that's gonna be, you know, traumatic.
Yep.
You know, that these people aren't expecting, like Elder D-Man saying. You know, they're just all about that comfort. You know, which the comfort, you know, that's gonna lead them into destruction.
Yeah.
You know, Isaiah 47 talks about you know, shit, let me just get it real quick one.
So like, yeah, I'm having all kind of technical difficulties. Satan really fucking with me right now. My computer about to die, and then the phone, which I charge, ain't
Tripping.
Yeah, it's all good though. Fuck it. It's all good.
It was Isaiah 47 verse 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thy heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. All right. So yeah, it said thou that are given to pleasures. You know, that's this whole system. All right, is all about pleasure. You know, for you regular old civilians, it's just all about pleasure. So you people are gonna get caught off guard when all this shit happens. You know.
Yeah, man. People. What is it? What is the saying? Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. You know, so everybody's been taught to be weak. Everybody's been taught to be comfortable. Everybody's been taught to live above their means. You know, and when hard times come, it's gonna be shown how weak the world has become. It's gonna be shown how weak the men have become. Hey, all these people that are, I'm against any kind of violence, and you know, are going to be put out the way, man. You know, hey, if you are a man of the Lord, of course, all you people that's not a man of the Lord, you know, that have a weak mindset, you're gonna die first, man. You know, Pastor Hart said it, man. You know, all you do is live a life of leisure. You don't know how to hunt, you don't know how to fish, you don't know how to do anything for yourself. The Spirit ain't with you. You know, because if the Spirit of the Lord is with you, you don't have to know how to hunt or fish. The Lord will provide food for you. But if you ain't got the Spirit of the Lord, you're gonna be SOL, bro. You're gonna be SO fucking L, man. You know? You sickly, you weak, you know. When the system changes to where you have to have the chip when the system changes to where you have to have the chip to, you know, you have to have the chip to thrive in society, then, you know, people are gonna run the line and take it. Because why? They don't know how to survive without this world system. They don't know how to survive. Hey, these people don't know how to go out in the woods and live 2 to 3 days to a week, you know, out just being self-sufficient. People don't know how to do that, you know. So a lot of these people in these inner cities that say, I'm not gonna take it, and they don't got the Lord with them. They just bullshitted all their life away. They knew they heard about the truth, maybe heard they was an Israelite, and they kind of like blew it off, you know, and you know, because life, they had so much to fucking do. I'm so fucking busy, right, that they gonna get these plagues, man. You know. But let's go.
Second Esdras 15 and verse 34. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm.
Uh-huh.
That's going into the armies, from Middle East, all right, from the north, all right, Russia, all right, all coming down, to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, to be judged,
Hey, the S and BRICS is South Africa, America, China, all these nations that are powerful nations are gonna be picking sides, man. One side is gonna have one consent to overthrow America and say, you know what, we're tired of America, and blow America up, and then America's gonna be like, fuck all these other nations, we're gonna go to war and we're gonna defeat them. But ain't none of that gonna happen. The Lord gonna step in. The Lord gonna say, ain't none of you motherfuckers gonna be the next. Ain't nobody gonna do shit but me. The Lord gonna step in and just start swatting everybody to the fucking ground, man. These nations got in their mind that they're gonna be the next rulers. But when we say that we gonna be the next rulers, they laugh. They be like, man, these motherfuckers don't even have a military. Because a carnal man can receive the thing of the spirit, man. They're spiritually discerned. When we say the Lord's gonna raise us up and we gonna rule, they don't see it because why? They don't see us with weapons. They don't see us with a standing army, jets, boats, and all that shit. They don't see us with anything. So they're like, man, but the Lord gonna flex, man. The Lord gonna show his power through us, man. The Lord gonna show his power. Well, let's go.
And if I may add, like Elijah, he prayed to Yahweh Shah to open up his servant's eyes, to see the army that's really, with us, Just because you can't see them, hey, best believe there's chariots all around us, Angels all around us, all right? That's working, for us, or, keeping us safe, all right?
Yeah, man. Hey, the Lord, his angels encamp around the righteous, man. To deliver them, man. So, man, like, hey, even us, like, we may think, like, man, well, I'm not no fucking, survivalist. I'm not no fucking, kung fu or jujitsu expert or martial arts expert, But the Lord is going to, man, the scriptures say, blessed is the Lord who teaches my hands to war, my fingers to fight, man. The Lord will give you a download like that. Like that's the thing, though. You can't doubt the Lord because you see all this shit going on in the world. You can't say, oh, shit. Because there's going to be some shit going on. There's some shit already going on. Tomorrow it's supposed to start protest all around the United States. Uproars of the people, So
major.
You can go ahead.
It says, what was that? 35. It says, I'm gonna read 34 again. Well, no, 35. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly.
Yeah. So these skirmishes, they're gonna have all kind of rockets and RPGs and RPGs and AT4s, and they're gonna be shooting rockets and shit, and then eventually, it's gonna turn into a nuclear war. This whole thing with Russia been at war with the Ukraine now for what? Over a year now? It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
They've been at war with them for over a year. They at this point, like, they lost soldiers too. So eventually it's gonna turn nuclear. You know what? Fuck it. I'm tired of sending my men over there to die. I'm tired of families. I'm tired of these families complaining to me about their family members dying. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna nuke these motherfuckers. You know, the Lord gonna put a thought in their mind. Look, I'm gonna call all my allies together to destroy this fucking place. And that's exactly what's gonna happen.
That's what we're waiting for too.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Was you grabbing the scripture? We good.
Yeah, we good.
Okay, we can keep reading then.
Second Esdras 15 and verse 36, and dung of men unto the camel's hoe. So that's gonna be basically a lot of, dung basically going into, heaps or piles, There's gonna be piles of men out here, Over there in the valley of Yehoshaphat, it's gonna be millions just dead bodies, all around,
Mm.
And it said unto the camel's hoe, unto the camels, the back of their knee, and camel they're 7 feet. I just looked it up. They're 7 feet, so it's a little height to that to the back of their knee,
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and like a lot of those camels, some of them camels are taller than 7 feet too. That's an average size camel, but some of them camels you gotta climb up on some stairs to get on them.
Oh yeah, and this was written back then, so
yeah. Some of them camels in the Middle East, bro. Like you be looking at up at them joints, like damn. Me, like me, I'm 6'3". I might not have been that tall back when I was over in the Middle East, but some of them camels are tall, like 7 to 12 feet. I mean 7 to 10 feet or something like that. So like 4 to 5. I mean, like 3 to 4 feet off the ground, bodies stacked up. But go ahead.
It says, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they shall see the wrath, and shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them.
Mm-hmm. And this is leading up to the second death. So it's going to be a lot of death leading up to the second death. All these men of war, these military powers are going to be put to work, man. But then in the midst of that, the Lord going to put in these nations' mind and say, fuck it, how about we just nuke these motherfuckers?
Precept.
How about we just kill all of them?
Yeah.
In the midst of that, the MOTB going to be going, man, it's going to be a lot of shit happening. And this is just the beginning of sorrows, man. Hey, this ain't even the beginning of sorrows. Hey, people gonna start, man. Like when that MOTB system gonna come out, all the shadiness of these people, and people have been being trained to be shady all this time. All the super duper shadiness of these people is gonna come out. Go ahead, bro.
Got a quick precept. Isaiah 13 and verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Mm-hmm.
Medes going into the Russians, So Yahweh Shai, he's stirring up their mind, to be against America,
Yep.
And they're not gonna, they're not gonna accept no payment, from America, It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So see, they're just gonna shoot the missiles over here, or all them nations gonna shoot the missiles, and they gonna care less on who's over here, It's just going everybody here that's not of the elect is going to be destroyed.
Yeah, because all these nations see America as a bunch of degenerates anyway.
Yeah.
Like they don't like a lot of these people. They don't want their kids to come over here. Like it used to be, go over to America. You can get rich. You can make money off of them. You can send money back home to take care of your family. But now, at this point, a lot of people that's in these other countries are doing better than people in America. Because that lie that America had upon them and those contracts, a lot of those contracts are fading away. Those contracts that America had with a lot of these companies are fading away. Now America is losing power. Okay, we can read.
Back to 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 38. And then shall there come great storms, and from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east, and west wind shall be destroyed.
Man, so something's gonna happen while they over there in that war. They're gonna get annihilated. And eventually, so is America. But America is not gonna win the Third World War. Something gonna happen where they gonna just blow them niggas to hell, and then they're gonna be like, you know what, we should blow this whole fucking place up.
I wonder how that's gonna happen, because at the same time, Yahushua is gonna be here too.
Yeah, the chariots gonna be getting busy too. Hey man, man, it's a lot gonna be happening, man, real soon. Like this, like. Fucking Israel just bombed Iran, bro. Like, we've been saying this shit was gonna happen for years. The least of them should draw them out. Mm-hmm. Like, there's certain scriptures that, that come to your mind, man. Like, like we've been saying this is gonna happen. And now we see it happen. We see the beginning, the beginning of it. Israel just bombed Iran, and Iran made one of those chiefs in Iran made a statement. He said, "Remember, we didn't start this." Mm-hmm. Because and now they call them all kind of meetings, just retaliation meetings, to see how the fuck they gonna do, what the fuck they gonna do. So now like. The scriptures say, "Look up, for now is salvation nearer than when we believe," man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go.
And Trump said about that, he was like, "Yeah, it was a perfect plan," that about what Israel did. So 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 40. The great and mighty cloud shall be lifted up, full of wrath, and the star that they may that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out every high and eminent place and horrible star.
Yeah, them fucking nukes,
Yeah.
That car sound like a chariot. Yeah, them nukes. Eventually it's gonna go to nukes. There's not gonna be no long dragged out, like this shit in Ukraine. It's not gonna be no long dragged out war where people just dying and dying and dying for years, for months and years on end. No, they're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck that. We're gonna make quick work of these people, and we're gonna just destroy this fucking place. And in the midst of them being in war, it's gonna be drafts. It's gonna be people, man, like, that could be a part of the push for war too. People trying to evade the draft. They're gonna be catching people, chipping them. Hey, if you don't get this C-hip, then, you know, and fight for your country, then you're going to go into a concentration camp. We're going to prison you. You know? It's going to be all kind of dystopian laws. You know? That's going to be pressed upon the people, man. Like, it's going to be all kind of shit going on, man.
Yeah. Next second, Esdras 15 and verse 41. Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full and all rivers with the abundance of great waters.
Flying swords. Behold the glittering sword. Oh man. Hey, so we know what that means. Them nukes. Flying swords, man. You heard like if you ever heard like a rocket launch that popping and crackling of that jet fuel? Yeah, that's a horrible sound, man. It's like, man, that popping and crackling of that jet fuel. You know, people gonna look in the distance, people gonna hear something go boom. Then the ground gonna shake a little bit, and they're gonna look in the distance, it's gonna be a big ass mushroom cloud. Then the next one gonna get louder. Boom! They gonna look over, and gonna be a big ass mushroom cloud coming up until all this shit is destroyed. You know? Let's go, bro.
A quick precept. Isaiah 34 and verse 4. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So yeah, that sword, you know. And that sword representing the missiles, you know. The nuclear missiles that's going to hit over here in Babylon the Great, aka America. Alright, to destroy, you know, Edomites that's over here. But at the same time, whoever else is over here, they're going to get destroyed right along with them.
Yeah.
You know, because the Lord allowed you to stay here, that means you was wicked. You was down with Esau, you know. So the Lord sees you basically as a fucking Edomite, you know.
Yep.
So He gonna treat you like one.
Yep. People gonna be through. Yeah, is your father the devil? The lust of your father you will do.
Verse 6: The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made with fat. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and it's like with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So yeah, basically, you know, the Lord's just about to have a slaughter fest over here, you know, through the missiles. All right, this place is America's a great altar, you know. That Yahweh Shema Shah just can't wait, you know, to you know, smell the smoke, you know, of you people, you know. Because this day, you know, the Lord said He's angry with you, you know, with the wicked every day. Esau, 2/3, all right. And He's tired of all it, you know. We're tired of it, you know. We can't wait to see, you know, a kingdom that's righteous, you know. The whole earth in righteousness, you know. No worries, you know. And that was it on that.
Yeah, get ready to take off in a little bit. So.
Second Esdras 15 and verse. What was that? 42. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, in their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid.
That means steadfast meaning they not gonna stop until they hit their target, till they hit their destination in Babylon, in America.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, they shall come to her and besiege her, and the star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her, and then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Boom. And then you look over in a mushroom cloud. And then boom. And people gonna be like, oh my God, until they get consumed. You know? Go ahead.
It says, and they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. And thou, Asia, that are partaker of hope of Babylon, and are glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee.
Yeah, man. And it says thou Asia. We know, like, there's no such thing as the Middle East. So it's gonna be other places that's gonna be getting destroyed too. It's gonna be other places that's gonna get hit by nukes too. But those places ain't gonna be utterly destroyed like America. Go ahead.
It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith Yahweh Shem Shah, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as flour, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee.
Yep. Because a lot of these places that's gonna nuke America made profit off America. The Lord gonna put it in their minds to do it, and after they do it, the Lord gonna withdraw His Spirit, and they're gonna be looking like, damn, should we have done that? Like, what do we do? Like, wow, what do we do? And they're gonna start to mourn because they like, man, we was whoring this, we was pimping this place out. Now we ain't got nowhere to make our make our money. All these other countries that consume this place, that make merchandise off this place. The Lord gonna withdraw that spirit that He had to destroy this place, and they're gonna be like, what are we gonna do now? Go ahead, bro. You had anything to say?
Nah, I mean, that's why I just said they should wail her. It says, if thou hadst not away slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead when thou was drunken, set forth thy beauty of thy countenance, the reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense. Yeah, because Esau, America comes against, it plays, how can I say, it profits from us being, at a lower state, not understanding who we are. They profit off that, and these other nations, But guess what? Hey, the Lord ain't forget about it, The Lord understands that He gave you unto, your hands, but you went overboard, You still are going overboard,
And all these other nations that follow after America, all the allies, all these nations that follow after America took on America's ways, man. Like the apostles brought it out long ago. The people in China, they used to wear busu and what's that shit called? All those suits of attire that they used to wear. Now they wearing. You see these motherfuckers? They wearing fucking high water pants with American suits, Armani and Versace suits with shades. Trying to look cool, man. They not keeping their own customs. Let's go ahead.
It says, thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy cities shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water.
Yeah, you might take your family and flee to the mountains. Hello. You might take your family and flee to the mountains, and might end up eating them out there. You might end up eating your family. You know what I'm saying? And then you might run out of family to eat and might start. Well, you know what? I only need one arm. So you know what? I'm gonna just start hacking away little small slithers of this arm. You know, making self bacon. Let's go. Let's go. Bro.
It says, "Thou as unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again.
Mm-hmm.
And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be done unto thee as fire, and shall consume thee in thy cities, thy land and thy mountains, all thy woods and thy fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. Thy children shall they carry away captive, and look what hast thou, they that spoil it, and mar the beauty of thy face."
Yeah, it's gonna be American submarines and ships out there fighting, right? And then they gonna return back to America, and America gonna be gone. Ain't gonna be no America. Oh man, can you imagine that? You on a submarine fighting like a motherfucker, and then them motherfuckers, they trying to phone home, and they ain't getting no answer, so they head back, and they head back to America, and America is totally fucking destroyed.
I believe there's a scripture like that. It talks about they should. I can't even paraphrase it like that. But I got a quick one. Baruch 4 and verse.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, American soldiers, they're going to be bombing shit over there too. They're going to be bombing shit, and they're going to be fighting too, man. Wait, go ahead, give what you got.
Baruch 4 and verse 34. "For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time." So yeah, that fire, the nuclear missiles, to make this place, to utterly destroy this place to the point where it's gonna be smoke. The fire is just gonna be burning for a sec. Then after the fire, quenches, however long Yahweh Shema Shah has that, to do, vultures, all right, scorpions, all right, those are the type of animals that's going to be inhabiting this place, for the atrocities of, the Israelites, because this place was built up all on blood,
Yep.
all on blood. So Yahweh Shema Shah is going to require that blood.
Yeah. We're going to require that blood from their hands, man. Kind. So, hey, you had anything else, or?
Nah, that was it.
So you can close it out, man.
All right, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Gonna give all glory and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honor, set apostle and elders, great millstone. All right, shalom.
Shalom.